How are we doing, guys and girls? In this episode I'm going to be showing you how to change the front brakes, discs, pads and ABS sensors on the front of a Mercedes C220 AMG line. As we can see in here, these discs now are well lipped, rusting away. The pads are still good, plenty of meat still on the pads, but we're going to change them. So new discs, new pads. I've got some Ultra brake pads for the front, two brand new ABS sensors because I've got some lights on my dash. None of my ABS is working at the moment, none of my cruise control, anything to do with cruise control, ABS, tyre pressure sensors, all of that stuff, none of that's working at the moment because these sensors, could be this side, could be the other side, but one of them's not working, so I'm going to replace the pair of them while I'm at it as well. That means taking the inner arch lining out to do that job, but that's just the way it is. So let's get this wheel off. Let's see, this is why the ABS, these are the lights that are on. Forget the petrol light, but the two up here, look, the traction control and the ABS are both off. C currently unavailable, C owner's manual. I've done some investigation work. I went online on a forum on Facebook, the Mercedes C220 W204 website on Facebook group page. Asked a few boys there and they said it's quite a common problem and it's the ABS sensors. So we're hoping that will rectify that once they're done. Right, now we got the wheel off, we can see how bad these discs are now, you know. Sort of rusted up now, well lipped. You know, they've had a good life though. But yeah, they've worn evenly. The good thing is they have worn evenly. We haven't got any like warping in them. They're still smooth in the middle. They're just lipped now, you know. So these are the new ones anyway. Here's one of the new ones. Bang. Nice, brand new big bad boy going on there. Nice. So the first thing I've got to do is get these old pads and stuff out. There's a couple of 13 mils round here, one here and one down the bottom here. Gonna get both of them off, then that'll release the pads, then I can push the piston back into this caliper. I'm gonna have to take the top reservoir bottle off, take the lid off the reservoir bottle before you try and push the piston back into the caliper, because otherwise it's pressurized. So if you undo the top of the fluid bottle, the brake fluid bottle, when you squeeze the piston back, the fluid can push back into the bottle without any air getting in there. It will just push it and fill the bottle back up to a higher level. Then when you pump the pedal, it'll push the fluid back into the piston again. Once everything's back on, like the brake pads and the discs are all in, then you'll pump them back up, so that then the piston will squeeze out and the pads will grip to the either side of the disc. So let's get these pads off first of all. Now when you do these, there's a 17mm spanner you have to put on one side and the 13 socket on the other. You hold one to turn the other. Now it's wedged itself now onto that caliper, so I can just twist it now. And that'll come undone. Do the same at the bottom as well. That should release off of there, lovely. There we go, finger tight now. Take that all the way out. Take the spanner off. Do the same at the bottom here. And then that'll be free. Now they're all off. Let's get this caliper off now. Got to be careful when I do these that I don't cause any damage to the brake line here when you take this caliper off. So I'm going to take that off and I'm going to balance it up here and cable tie it up somewhere so we don't get any kinks in this pipe here, because this is our brake fluid pipe. We don't want that to kink at all. Well, I've got the caliper nicely balanced up there at the back, so it's not causing any trouble on that brake hose. So now I'll put a screwdriver into the vent, wedge it up against hard against this steel, and then I've got a T30 torque bit to undo this screw here to get the disc off. Now this, I couldn't do it with a screwdriver first of all. I locked it off with the screwdriver in there, and it got my spanner on it, and it gave me the leverage because I couldn't turn it. It was twisting the whole disc round. So I wedged the disc up by putting that straight through the vent, and that made this screw able to come off. Now we should be able to take the disc off. Well, now I've got the disc loose, but what I've actually got to do is take this actual cradle off. There's two 17 mils down here, one here, one here. I need to get both of these off, and then I'll be able to take the disc off. So it turns out these two bolts, one here and one here, aren't 17 mil, aren't 19 mil, they're 18 mil. And I don't want to risk rounding them off. So I've just Amazon ordered an 18 socket and an 18 spanner, because I don't have one in my set. 17, look, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then they miss 18 out. No good. So while I'm waiting for that spanner, I've got the inner arch out now, which was an absolute shed loads of screws, 10 mils, loads of lugs hiding around the place. Some here, some all underneath, all the way up here, lugs everywhere. Anyway, this is the ABS sensor cable here. It runs down behind this into this clip here, down and into the back of the hub. So we're going to replace that now while we're on this side. Now the ABS sensor is here. I've just undone this one now. It's a 10 mil, I think it's a 10 mil socket spanner. Take the nut off and then feed it out. As you can see, it's held on with that, and then this piece goes into the hub, into that other hole, the bigger of the two, that one. So that's for the nut, and that's for the male to go in. And here's the other end of it, up here by the top of the strut. You have to pull this little clip out to get this bit off. So there we go, there's my new sensor in, rerouted, all clipped in its proper places, right the way round, in here, and screwed back in to its proper spot. Lovely. And something else you might have noticed, the disc is off. Love thy neighbour had a spanner. Come on. So now it's time to get it all put back together. Now to get the caliper piston pushed back in, I just use one of my F-clamps from my bricklaying set. Put one side on here, and as I twist this up, it should. I twist the clamp, tighten it up, and it pushes the piston in. Squeezes it in with every little turn. Nice. But you have to take your reservoir bottle top off first. You have to get your bottle top off first, because otherwise the system will be under pressure. You're going to be trying to push the piston against the tank. You need the cap off to allow the movement, you know, otherwise it'll be under pressure. So here's our new brake pads. There's the old one. So you can see it was sort of just over halfway worn, but new discs, new pads. There's no way I'm putting these old ones back in. While it's all off, put a new set in. There we go. Bosh. Alright, just got to get the arch lining back in now. Wheel on, and then that's that side complete. Okay, on to side number 2. Screwdriver wedged in. There she goes. Nice. Loosen that off. get it into the screwdriver, and then we can take that off. There we go, caliper off, old pads off, and the old brake sensor off. We've got a new one of these to go on. Yes. We can see from this pad, one side of the pad, there's quite a lot of meat still on it, but it's quite level. But the other side, the rear, it's not level at all. Look at the grooves in it. That's because the back of the disc was like that. Awful. You can't see that, you know, you can't see that from when it's on the car, because that's the reverse side of the disc. So I'm glad I'm putting these on, you know. So there we go. Hub off. Lovely. Let's get our new disc on. There's my new ABS sensor in this side as well, all routed up to there. I'm going to get the disc and that and all this up back on, and then quickly whip this cowling off. Shouldn't take me too long. It's only 1, 2, 3, I think that one, 4, couple of clips here, and there's one underneath here which you have to do to get this whole piece off, and then you can access it. I think it's up here behind this little square bit here. It's a shame really, you've got to take all that off, but it's just behind there. Right, on the driver's side you have the brake sensor. I took it off earlier, it's down there, there's the old one, this is the new one. Now this little piece here, when that gets worn away, there's a bit of metal in there. When it doesn't continue having the circuit, once the power doesn't go through it, it means the pads are low, the light will come on a relay. So that gets threaded into that little hole on the back of the pad there, and then clips into this little ridge like this. Goes in the hole, oh yeah, and then pushes in, click. Now this piece will come up through here and into this little socket here, that's where it lives. And there we go, that's that plugged in there. I always like to just pull this wire back so it steers clear of the disc. But yeah, perfect. So now to tighten up the two top bolts, the caliper bolts, one here and one down the bottom. Then we're going to take this inner lining out. Now on this side, because of the brake pad sensor as well as the ABS sensor, the two actually click in together. They click in together like there's a little clip. They join on together and both plug in together this side. So they're all in now. Everything's back in now. So it's just a case of putting this arch lining back in, getting the wheel back on, getting the brake fluid cap back on, and then giving it a test and see if them lights go out. There we go, all fitted. Lovely old job. Right, so now all the sensors have been changed, and I've now got an ABS light on over here as well. Tyre low pressure, I knew about that anyway. With petrol light as well, so I've got another light on. So what I've done so far, the brakes feel really nice. I've just driven up the road and they feel really, really good. They're stopping really well. You know, obviously I'm not slamming my foot on the brake yet. I've got to bed them in a bit first, but they feel, the pedal feels really good. So we're going to have to continue trying to figure out what their problem is, the ongoing issue, all the lights on the dash. But I'm sure in the next episode I would have rectified it. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you've got anything out of this episode, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. But until then, peace out and pow.